We are a non-profit alliance that unites families impacted by extremism, former extremists, and survivors of violent extremism. Our mission is to assist families, friends, and anyone concerned about a loved one becoming involved with extremism.
First, Mr. Chris Buckley joins us as a U.S. Army veteran and a white supremacy specialist at Parents for Peace, a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting families concerned about a loved one who has fallen prey or is at risk of falling prey to domestic violent extremism. Ms. Emma Juan also represents Parents for Peace, where she worked to establish and build the organization's intervention helpline and trauma recovery program.
The work that we do at Parents for Peace is mostly focused on the family and loved ones and people that can act as pillars and mentors, because we do believe, as Sarah was mentioning earlier, that families can play this role and can really be the way in order to use the emotional link and the social connections. We see that radicalization happens the further isolated you are, and that's what isolation and a sense of abandonment is what a lot of veterans suffer from when coming back. And we try to use the family as a way in, and something that we also really touch on when we try to coach the family first, without even going to the veterans when they reach out to us, is trying to educate people on what extremism is, using the addiction analogy, perceiving extremism and as a form of addiction, perceiving hate as a drug of choice, and trying to explain that people don't necessarily go to extremism because they care about the content, because they care about the ideology, but more because of what it does to them, how it numbs the pain, how it's a way to, how cathartic it can be to people. And so using those educational resources and really training and educating is really the way in for the families to then be able to have a toolbox to intervene directly and be the ones that are equipped in order to actually show up, because they're going to be around, they're going to be exposed to everyday extremism and to everyday hate. And so having them be equipped in order to address this is extremely important, and that's the most success that we've seen so far.
Instead, there was a loving group eager to embrace me and acknowledge my pain. It was the Ku Klux Klan, and they did not approach me with pitchforks or burning crosses, but with a plate of barbecue ribs, a Bible, and the promise of brotherhood I missed from my days in the Army. In fact, I probably still would be in the KKK had it not been for the intervention of my wife. My 4-year-old son had started asking for his own KKK outfit. My wife had just had enough. She gave me an ultimatum. It was going to be either her and my son or the Ku Klux Klan or drugs. In the meanwhile, she reached out to a former extremist online who took me in touch with Parents for Peace. In order to take back my life, I had to quit my drug addiction. I had a few relapses, all of them on Halloween, the day I lost my friend in that ambush. Giving up my addiction to hatred and resentment was not any less challenging. I wanted to blame others. I wanted to remain an angry victim rather than take responsibility for my own actions. And I wanted a quick fix to numb my pains, right then and there. Prevention of radicalization is always better than treatment. We need to prepare our troops not only for being soldiers, but also for civilian life when they transition home. We need preventative solutions to our soldiers to deal with the trauma of active duty.
Everything you said, I felt when I lost my friends, and I understand what you, where you came from, where you're going, and I'm very proud of you. It was tough. It just struck me right out when you said I had a pre-mob of at least 3.5 months. And when I got back, they kicked us right out. Cut off our contracts. People had no places to live. They're very quick to get us to war, but as soon as they don't need us, they just threw us to the streets. And I know that feeling. I'm sorry that you had to go to that. And I think everyone here is sorry that we have done that to our fellow veterans, our brothers, people that we say are warriors, but then we treat them as just a budget item when it comes to giving them the housing that they need when they get back from deployment, or just even if they need any care. And God knows, like, especially my unit, we had a tough time even getting to VA back in the day. So I love you, brother. Very, very proud of you. And, honestly, I was supposed to have a question here and that, but I think I just want to make that statement. And, I think you're doing great work. Everything you've seen, I've seen and felt. And there's a lot of veterans out there, and you at least have the courage to talk about it, to do something about it. I just want you to know that.
Your organization, Parents for Peace, is right now testifying before the United States Congress on the subject of radicalization with, I think, the United States Armed Forces. We've had examples, of course, here in Canada, not only with our military, but with our police. It's been revealed that some members of various Canadian police forces were donating to the illegal occupation of Ottawa, despite their role in society to serve and protect the communities in which they live. In your view, how concerned should we be about radicalization in our military currently and in our police forces? And in your view, what effective measures can we take to counter that radicalization?
Excellent question. Thank you for asking that. And I actually do have my phone here on the side watching the House committee testimony happen at the same time. It is definitely a concern. It is a real concern, especially when it comes to military members who have specialist information and capabilities, if because of PTSD or other issues that develop as a result of their service, could, for those, for the very small number that could go on to become violent actors, they could be very effective at what they're doing. In fact, you will see as well, and again, I don't want to say that I don't believe it is as pervasive a threat in the military. You can see from the individuals that we've been seeing kind of speaking up from the military, very few of them actually come from the regular forces. Most of them have come from the reserve forces. I don't know if there's a cultural issue with that, but again, I want to say that it is a real threat.
Your open-heartedness and your testimony brought out some of the better angels of our nature on this committee. I think you've opened up more space for us to work with one another. I think there were suspicions that this was going to be a partisan exercise, and I think having gotten through this, you and all the witnesses today have shined a light on a hopeful path. Yours is a hopeful story. You went in as a true warrior on behalf of America to fight our enemies. And you've, I think, now found a mission for yourself, which is truly bigger than you, and a noble mission, and an honorable mission, and an important mission. I see the biggest danger to America. We see a threat right now in Europe, and we have threats all around us, and many people are focused on China. But I'd say the biggest threat is the disunity among ourselves and the perilous place we find our democracy in. And some of it has been stoked, much of it's been stoked by people outside the country. They've taken advantage of this division. So we can become a stronger America. You've helped us become a stronger America today. So I with all humility, thank you for being here today. I'm very emotionally moved by, I think we all were.